Okay, so today is actually the last day for lecture before we have a review on what is today? On Thursday. And then you will have the exam on Tuesday next week. That's the reason why your assignment is actually due today, and we will review that assignment on Thursday. Okay. So we will discuss the last chapter before your second exam. That's gonna be the immune system. Okay. So this immune system sometimes is also known as a lymphatic system. Okay. So this system is actually our defense mechanisms, okay, against the infectious disease. So that's the immune system or the lymphatic system, which is actually our defense mechanism. Okay, so for defense, our defense mechanisms, just like country like United States, when they try to defend against the enemy, they will have army and weapon. The same thing with our body, we actually have army and weapon too. Okay, so this defense mechanism is done by, okay, I'm gonna put this one here first. Okay, so make sure you follow this easily. We have learned about blood, so mostly it's gonna be carried by the blood. So this army, we can call this as army just to make it easy to understand. What is our army? Our army actually cells, okay, that able to fight. Now, can you guess or can you tell me what are the blood cell that fight against organism? What do you call all that blood cell? The white blood cell, right? So white blood cell is actually our army. So this is our army gonna be the leukocyte or white blood cell. Hey, again, you still remember there are 5 types of leukocyte. Never let monkey eat banana. That's the sequence, right? What is the most abundant one? It's gonna be neutrophils. Okay. What is the second one? Never let. It's gonna be lymphocyte. Okay. And this lymphocyte is divided into 2 types. Okay, which is the B cell or B lymphocyte, and the T cell or T lymphocyte. Get this one first? Now this B cell, I'm gonna make this classification again in order to understand how they work. So this B cell will be divided again into what we call the plasma B cell. Okay. And then there is another B cell, it's called the memory B cell. Okay. This is actually, we're going to learn all the army in our body, in our system. The T cell can be divided into the T cell that really kill the viruses by producing the toxin. That T cell is called the TC. TC or cytotoxic T cell. Okay. So that's the divisions of our army over here. And then there is another T cell. It's called the TH. This is called the T helper. Okay. T helpers. The TH itself is divided into T helper number 1 and T helper number 2. TH1, TH2. So we have a lot of, basically just like in a country, you have a lot of different divisions of armies, right? So that's the T cell. And when they fight, for example, they can also make what we call the memory T cell. So created another division after fightings that have memory to fight the same type of infection. And there are some of the T cell that actually become so non-specialized. It's become general type of T cell that can not only actually fight the virus, but they also can fight bacteria. It's called the natural killers, NK. Okay, so you can imagine our body is actually prepared very, very good, very well against the disease. And then what is after never let, it's going to be monkey. What is monkey? I mean, what is M? It's going to be monocyte. Okay, and monocyte, they can leave our blood cell to make what we call the macrophages, big eaters. They're big killer. The bigger killers in our body is actually the macrophages. They kill bacteria. Never let monkey eat. What is E? Eosinophils. And the last one will be the basophil. You follow this? Now, again, you still remember the neutrophil mainly fights against what? Bacteria. Fight against bacteria infection. Lymphocyte, mainly they will fight against viruses, even though they have ability to fight bacteria also. Right? And then the monocyte, this is the same like neutrophil. They also can kill bacteria. Okay, especially the long-term bacterial infection for the monocyte. So if you see this neutrophil and monocyte or macrophages, they can eat, they can phage bacteria. Therefore, these two army over here, these two cells, the neutrophils and macrophages or the monocyte, is also known as a phagocyte. Phagocyte. What is phagocyte? Cell eaters. The cell can eat, that can eat or swallow the bacteria. That's the monocyte and neutrophils. How about the eosinophil? Eosinophil, this is the one that fights against parasite. Parasite is a bigger type of infection, bigger type of microorganism. That's including worm, for example. Okay, and then protozoa like malaria and protozoa. Well, they are bigger compared to bacteria or viruses. So this is gonna be fight by eosinophil, bigger germs. Now, how about basophil? Basophil is the one that try to remove allergens. Allergens. Yeah, usually when they try to fight allergen, this basophil will produce histamine. Histamine. And this is actually have a side effects on us. When we produce a lot of histamines, then what happens? We will have inflammations. The inflammation is called the allergy. Can you follow this one? So this histamine causing us to be allergy on that specific allergens. Like example of allergen is pollen, for example, right? When someone allergic to pollens, this basophil will produce histamine, and then this histamine causing that person become allergy to that pollen. Now, how you deal with this pollen? How you deal with the allergen? So there's someone that have allergy, they usually take what? Medicine, right? Like what is the medicine? Anybody have allergy over here? I don't have allergy, so what is the allergy medicine that usually people take? Benadryl. What else? If you read the ingredients, do you know if you read the ingredients of that medicine, what they have? What they usually have on that medicine for allergy? It will have this. Read it if you don't believe me. Right? Read that medicine, that drug for the allergy reaction. What is mostly they have? Antihistamine. What does that mean? It will block the histamines produced by that person. Are you with me? So therefore, they will be relieved from the allergy. Because what? Because this histamine causing that person to have allergy. In order to kind of relief from that, they take the antihistamine, whether Benadryl, I forget the name of the allergy medicine. Some people take even a stronger type of allergy medicine. But most of the allergy medicine will have this. What is that? Antihistamine. Block the histamine productions. That's how it's work. That's the reason why it's not forever, right? It's only temporary. Because this antihistamine, when it is done, they need to take it again. Right? That's the allergy, which is done by this basophil. Are you with me? So that's our armies. Now, the second components that we have, just like I mentioned in the country when they fight enemy, they will have army, and they also produce what? They produce gun, they produce bomb or whatever. What do you call that? Weapons, right? We can call this as a weapon. So this weapon is also produced in our body whenever we have the infection, whenever we have the enemy. Doesn't make sense, right? Doesn't make sense. Now, what weapon that we have? The first weapon, the primary weapon that we will create, that we will produce, will be what we call the antibodies. Okay? So that's the first, the main weapons that will be produced. It is actually produced. It's not available all the time. It is only produced whenever we have the infection. There is antibodies. And this is also known as immunoglobulin, which is a type of proteins that is carries in the blood plasma, or Ig. You get this one? Now, who produce the Ig? Who make the Ig? What is the factory for the Ig? This one over here. Here. The plasma B cell is the one that produce this antibody. Produce. Okay? So this plasma B cell will produce the antibodies whenever we have the infection. We're going to learn this process later. But right now, I want to show you this is our mechanism for defending ourselves against infectious disease. And A, B, C, D, E. There are 5 types of antibodies, if you still remember. We're going to put from the most abundant one, which is IgG. What is the sequence? If you still remember, it's going to be game, right? Game. The last one is going to be E. Okay. But before E, there is letter D. Okay. That's the sequence of the antibodies in our body that is produced. The most abundant one will be IgG. This one is about 80%. This is the one that fight against anything. This is the weapon that can be used for anything. Maybe over here just like a handgun. Right? It's a lot. It's produced a lot of handgun. The second one is going to be IgA. And this is about 13% produced in our body, especially in the liquid, like tears, sweat. That will have a lot of IgA. The next one is going to be IgM. Okay, IgM may be about 6% in our blood. Produce about 8%. It's going to be less use. Right? And then IgD about maybe 1%. Right? And the last one, this is less than 1%, really few in concentration, which is IgE. Okay? Are you with me first? Now, this is connection over here. Losing the allergy over here. The basophil, boom, actually will work together with the IgE. So IgE, this is the one that mostly used for allergens. Okay, so this is the least abundant one, and this is also the least abundant army over here. So the least abundant weapon will match with the least abundant army. Okay, you get me? Now, what is the second one? Our body also produces what we call toxin. This is another weapon. Toxin also proteins, and this toxin produced by this one over here, the TC. Okay, TC is the one that produces the toxin. Okay, so the toxin will kill or destroy the enemy, which is the pathogens inside the cell. The cell that have that pathogen is called the infected cell. Okay. Now, what is the difference between toxin and antibody? Antibody over here will destroy pathogens outside the cell. So this is the one, the pathogen that actually present in our tissue, located in the interstitial fluid, if you still remember. What? Interstitial fluid is fluid that located between cell. Mostly bacteria will be on the interstitial fluid. But virus, you know that virus mostly will enter into our cell because they need to use our machinery. That's the reason why T cell fight against viruses, because they have the ability to kill the pathogen inside the cell, while the antibodies over here mostly will kill the pathogen that's located in the interstitial fluid between the cell. Right? So that's the second weapon type of weapon, which is toxin. We also produce what we call the antimicrobial proteins to fight whether bacteria or viruses. One of them is called complement system. This is consists of about 26 proteins that actually kill bacteria. This is type of antimicrobial proteins, complement system, bacteria, kill bacteria. And another one is called the interferons, or ENF. Interferons. This is the one that mostly will kill viruses. So that's interferon, which is type of antibacterial proteins. Okay, so this kind of the list of our equipment inside our body to fight against infection. So we have army, which is the cell that have the ability to move, to kill, to destroy the enemies, and then this also produce the weapons. The weapon is the one that will be used by this army to kill, destroy the pathogens. Can you follow this? What? I hope this is clear for you that yes, our body just like a country when they try to fight against enemies. And our enemies, in this case, gonna be the pathogenic microorganism, the infectious disease. You and me? Now we're gonna learn about how our body do this defense. This is just list of the things, or the list of the army and the weapon. Now we're gonna learn the process how our body fight against infectious disease. Okay, let's make sure it's still working. Okay, now our defense mechanism. Now we're gonna learn the process. We have two type of defense mechanism in our body. The first type is called the non-specific defense mechanism. Okay. On the other side, we have, if you have non-specific, then the second one will be specific defense mechanism. Okay. What does non-specific mean? Jonathan, what does non-specific mean?
Non-specific?
Yeah, what is non-specific? What does that mean?
I don't know this.
It's not specific. What does not specific mean? It means that it fights against everything. It doesn't matter. viruses, bacteria, worm. Whenever we have the disease, this non-specific one will be the one that fight them. They don't care. They don't choose the enemy. Okay, so this one, okay, will fight everything. Everything that enter into our body. That's non-specific. Now, how about specific? Only fight against specific disease. So they choose the enemy. That's a specific defense mechanism. Okay. The non-specific one, it's also known as innate defense. What does innate mean? We carry with this defense mechanism since we were born. We have it in our body. So we have it. We have this. We have it since we were born. It's with us. That's an innate defense mechanism. Now, how about the specific defense mechanism over here? It is not innate, but it is what we call the acquired. Okay? Acquired. What does acquired mean? We don't have it if we don't have the disease. We create it when we have the disease. Over here, whether you have disease or not, you have the innate defense mechanism. But this one, we're gonna make it. Okay, it's created after the infections or during. We can say after or during infections. Can you follow this? Right? This one is we have it. Whether we have disease or not, we have this innate defense mechanism. We have the army and we have the weapon in this one. But this one, the weapons and the army will be created after we have the infection. Can you follow this? Can you see the difference over there? So basically, we don't have that until we have the infection first. Okay, so that's what we call the acquired defense mechanism. You got this one? Now, to make it easy to understand, then you're gonna see the example over here. You're gonna see the example over here. The non-specific mechanism divided into two types. Okay, the first one is called the first line of defense. What does the first line of defense mean? This is the first line that will fight. This is the first line that will be ready. Okay. Example. Example. Before we go to the next type. This first line, we're gonna give you example. Like for example, we have physical or mechanical defense. That we have it, whether we have disease or not. What is physical mechanical? This is the structure, the anatomy that we have in our body that can protect us, prevent us against disease. Example, skin structure. Okay, the skin structure. Anybody still remember? Our epidermis consists of what type of tissue? What is the name of the tissue in our epidermis? Anybody? Momo? Emily? What squamous, stratified epithelium, right? What does squamous mean? Flat. What does stratified mean? Many layers. Why it is many layer? Skin. Why? It's protect us, right? Many layers of that cell will protect us in case the infection coming. Is we have that one. So, do you have your skin since you were born? Yes, of course, right? So this is a non-specific defense. And this is this first line. We have the skin structure that's really good for protection. We only have disease actually whenever our skin being damaged. You have cut in your skin, that's bad because the infection bacteria might enter to that damage. But if your skin is good, smooth, healthy, most of the time the bacteria will not be able to enter to your body. What? That's the first defense on the physical and mechanical type. Get it? All right. What else? Look at your nose. What do you have in your nose? Wow. I don't know. What do you have in your nose? Do you have hair in your nose? Do you have mucus in your nose? Why? Do you know why? Protection. Yeah? That hair can filter the dust. The mucus can trap the bacteria. Are you with me? So that's nose, nasal structure. That's physical. That's anatomy. Are you with me? Look at your respiratory tract. When we learn about tissue, this tract, like trachea, it consists of pseudostratified epithelial tissue that have cilia on it. What it is used for? Removing bacteria or virus that might enter into your lungs. That's a structure. We have it since we were born. Okay, so respiratory tract structure. Okay, can you follow this, right? That's our physical. That's the first line of defense. It's protect us. So first line over here, mostly for preventions. Preventions. So we have this. We also have a very nice GI tract that can also remove bacteria or viruses. That's a first line of defense in the physical type. Get it? Now, look at this one. We also have chemical defense as the first line of defense mechanism. What is example of chemicals? Okay. You see, you can put over here also, there's a physical and mechanical thing. There are actually many of them. We can put number just to make sure you can follow this. You can understand this completely. Okay. We're going to put chemical over there. So we're going to put 5 over here for examples. Do you produce tears? Tears, right? Tear is a structure or mechanical protection. When you cry, you actually produce tears every day. You produce tears every day. This is going to be kind of wet your lens, your eyes. That tears actually can carry a lot of bacteria out from your body. What else? Do you sweat? Sweat, that also can take a lot of bacteria from your body. Do you pee? Urine. What? Do you poop? Yeah. Right? And then you have, I'm going to put as many as possible over here. You have mucus produced in your GI tract, including in your nose. Is mucus also produced by your esophagus, by your stomach? Does help you actually, prevents against infection. What else? Do you have wax in your ear, right? Wax. Can you follow this, right? So put as many as possible over that. Make sure you understand that, yes, we have a mechanical, we have physical defense as the first line. Get it? It's actually prevents from infection. Now, the second first line of defense, it can be done also by chemical that is produced in our body. Examples, in our saliva, in our tears, in our sweat, we have an enzyme that actually can split or break bacteria. Is called a lysozyme. It is chemicals, and we produce it. When we produce sweat, we will also have lysozyme in it. When we produce saliva, there will be lysozyme on it. When we produce tears, there will be lysozymes on it. That's chemical. We produce it. That can kill some bacteria on the tear or sweat. Your stomach. Anybody know what is the pH of the stomach? Around 2. What is 2? If the pH 2 is what? Acidic or basic? Acidic. Your stomach is acid, what? So acidity of stomach, acid in the stomach. Why? Because you actually eat a lot of bacteria with the food. Believe me, nobody eats sterile food. Sterile food is not good. So a lot of bacteria, a lot of microorganisms in the food, and then acid in stomach can kill them, can destroy them. Many of them, not all of them, but many of them. Right? So that's a chemical first line. Can you follow this? Are you with me? But sometimes, this is what happens. Sometimes our first line doesn't work. Like we have we have a skin damage, right? What happened then? The bacteria enter. Now, whenever bacteria enter into our body, what we do? We have the second lines over here. Second lines of defense. This is when the first line fail. Now the bacteria, virus enter into our body. We have to do something. And this something, as this process is called the second lines of defense. Now what is the first thing is happening on the first line of defense? Whenever we have infection, most of the time, that part of our body will be inflamed, will be swelling, right? That's actually the first reactions on the second line of defense is called the inflammatory responses. This is actually part of our second lines of defense. Yes, our body will be inflamed, swelling. Do you know why? Remember, the army is carried by the blood, right? Whenever we have disease or infection in one side of our body, then many blood will be go there. Are you with me? There, what happened? Swell. That's the characteristic of inflammation, is swelling. Because so many water, so many blood going to that place, and that place become swelling. Can you follow that? What is the color of that infected place? Mostly will be redness. Red. Because what? Because blood. a lot of blood, and blood mainly consists of red blood cell. So that place is going to be swelling, it's going to be red. That's indication of what? Indication of second line of defense, inflammatory response. Can you follow this? And then that place also, the infectious place, will be increased in the temperature a little bit. So it's become a little bit warm. You actually can feel it a little. Oh, it's warmer on the infectious location. Why? Because this blood over here doing things over there that increase the temperature on that side. That's warm. Okay, and sometimes on that place you can also feel the pain. That pain actually telling you, man, taking care of me. You have infection here. It's going to give you the sense of infection, of feeling that you have infection, which is called the pain. And sometimes on the inflammatory area, there's going to be also loss of functions. So that part going to be kind of is not normally functional. Because what? Because there is an infection over there. There is something that you have to remove. You have to take care first. That's the first indication of the second line of defense, which is what? The inflammatory responses. Are you with me? No. What is next happening on the second line of defense? Remember, on the infectious area, the blood will go there and mostly will carry what? The army. The army, which is the white blood cell. There are two army that's going to be do their job first. I already erased over here. Which is the one that's going to be eat bacteria. It's called the phagocyte, right? That two phagocytes are neutrophils and monocyte. Are you with me? And the process is called phagocytosis. Okay? So that's the process name. This is the second thing that will be done in the second line of defense, which is our phagocyte, which is neutrophil and monocyte will eat. Phago means eat. Eat bacteria or the microorganisms on that area. And again, the name of the process is called the phagocytosis. It is done by phagocyte. Neutrophil will be coming first because they are smaller. They're going to be fighting, eating a lot of bacteria. Macrophages or the monocytes will be coming later. But they are very big. They can eat 1,000 bacteria in one action. That's the reason why we know that neutrophil mostly will kill the new infection, the new bacteria, and monocyte will be usually present after long-term bacterial infection. Can you follow this, right? That's the reason. Monocyte, they are bigger, they are slower, they come later, but they kill more compared to the neutrophil. They phagocyte more. Okay. What's the next things happening in the second line of defense? Remember, we have a weapon. It's called the antibacterial proteins. And we mentioned there are two types. One of them is the complementary system. What is this complementary system? This is actually a group of proteins. Let's say this is bacteria. So this is bacteria. Let's say we have maybe 23, 26 proteins that will attack that bacteria. They actually destroy the bacteria cell wall and cell membrane, as causing making the holes, okay, on the bacterial body or in bacterial cell. And what happens if there is a holes on the bacterial cell? The water will enter. And then what happens when the water enter? The bacterial cell become bigger, 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 and finally it's gonna be exploding. It will be exploding. So that's how this complementary system destroy the bacteria. This is our second line of defense. And then another one is the interferon. What is interferon? Interferon is just like a good neighbor. Just like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Why? He's like this. Let's say we have cell over here, and that cell infected by viruses. So this is infected cell. Okay. So the cell infected by viruses, so virus enter into body, and some of them enter into the cell. That cell is called the infected cell. The infected cell actually producing interferon. Okay. And this interferons will go to the healthy cell. Okay, healthy cell. Okay, and then it will give the information, the stimulus to the healthy cell to produce protein that will block the virus. So creating something that will block the virus. So you can see this one. This is like a good neighbor. So this infected cell, let's say you have a neighbor that get robbed during the night, what? And then what happened? He will call the neighbors, the other neighbors, hey, I just get robbed last night, so be prepared. Close all the door, close all the windows, and etc. Right? So just like a good neighbor, the interferon produced by the infected cell give the information to the healthy cell to prepare. How they prepare? They will be creating the protein that able to block the infection. That's the antibacterial protein, the ANF. The last thing that's happening during the second line of defense is this one. We have this a lot. Fever. So every time you get infection, most of the time we have what? Increased body temperature. This is what we call the fever. What is fever? Fever is actually part of our defense mechanism. When our body temperature increase, it might be able to kill some type of bacteria. But it has to be maintained also. If they increase more than 101 or 102, 104, we need to take a drugs that reduce the fever. We cannot let them go. But if it is still 199, it should be still good. That's part of our defense mechanism. Okay, can you follow this one? So that's the second line of defense. Now, let's say in the second line of defense, you also fail. We also fail. The bacteria, the virus is still there. It cannot be fight or fought by this second line of defense. We still have the last one. The last line of defense is called the third line of defense. And this third line of defense will be done by specific defense mechanism. Okay, so this, why specific? Because it's gonna be done by specific cell. Specific cell. That specific cell is called this lymphocyte. Okay, that's the reason why this specific defense mechanism is also known as lymphatic system. Because it's done by lymphocyte. And again, we already learned there are two types of lymphocyte: B cell, T cell. B cell have 3 types. T cell have several types. So that's gonna be done by this lymphocyte. which is the B cell and T cell. Okay, do you have questions so far? Okay, now we're gonna go this one. We still have about 10 minutes. It should be enough to talk about that specific defense mechanism. But I'm gonna erase this one first. Okay, so this is what happens when we have a specific disease. Let's say this is inside our body. Okay, this is outside. Okay, so inside our body we'll have a lot of cells, right? Let's say a lot of. I just put 2 of them. Okay. Now, let's say the disease coming. Boom, enter. Let's say this disease is specific, like chicken pox virus. Okay, so enter into your body. Are you me? And some of them, of course, will be infecting your cell. Right? Some of them stay outside. Are you with me? Now, whenever it is infected your cell, then your cell will produce indications or sign. Okay, that signs gonna put here. Okay, so that sign is called the antigens. Okay, producing that sign. So let's say the signs I'm gonna put it here. Okay, that sign over here. Okay, so that sign is carried by this sign is antigen, is carried by our type of protein on the cell. Is called the marker proteins. If you still remember, there are 6 types of proteins on the cell membrane. One of them is called marker. And that marker we have 2 types. Marker number 1, MSC number 1, major histocompatibility proteins number 1. It will be carry that antigen, presenting the antigen. Yeah, you have problem here. Okay, you have problem here. Now, when we have that, then our T cell, let's say this is T cell, which is the TC. The TC has the ability to recognize the antigen on micro MSC number 1, marker number 1. So you have TC. Okay, so this recognized first. Now, another process happening here. You have phagocyte over here. Phagocyte. Mostly, you read 2 types of phagocyte, neutrophil and monocyte. Monocyte also known as a macrophages. So this phagocyte carry another marker. That marker is called the MSC marker number 2. Okay. So whenever there is an enemy coming, this phagocyte will try to eat them. Okay, so this is the nucleus, right? And then what happens whenever it is eating this, is actually processing this inside the cell, inside the organelle, the lysosome. Okay, it will presenting another antigens. Okay, so this is another antigens will be presenting here. And this two antigen over here is actually similar because it's coming from the same type of virus. So this antigen is going to be chickenpox. Right? So this is going to be telling, oh, this there is a chickenpox over here. Chickenpox viruses. Okay? Now, these antigens, which is in the MSC number 2, marker number 2, will be recognized by another T cell, which is T helper. Alright, so T helper has the ability to recognize this because the receptors look like this, right? The same shape with the antigen on the marker number 2. Can you follow this one first? Okay, so it's a long process, but actually it's gonna be done very fast. Right? So this one then, the T helper will produce boom, boom, boom. Protein is called the IL, interleukin. Maybe you have heard a lot of interleukin right now that causing several kind of conditions. I'm gonna put this on the other side. We need the middle part. This is antigen. This is telling us there is a chicken pox. Okay, now this will produce IL-1, interleukin 1, go to the TC. Right? And then it's also produce interleukin number 2, IL-2. And this one, the one that will go to the B cell. Now you see the T cell, B cell, now both of them present. Okay? Now, whenever this IL, the interleukin, go to the TC, okay, then the TC will make cloning themselves into many TC. Okay, so this is TC clones. So this is created after we have that infection. Right? So many TC clone. It also will produce the memory TC. Okay, so we will not use the memory TC right now because right now we only use the TC clone. What the TC clones do, it will produce toxin. It's called the perforin. And then this one will kill the virus inside the cell by actually also destroying the infected cell. So that's how the TC kill the virus, by killing our own cell. So basically destroy our cell in order to be able to destroy this. Right? That's the work of the TC clone. Are you with me? Now, how about over here? The B or B cell, whenever it is receiving the information from T helper, then it become plasma B cell. And it also will creating the memory B cell. Are you with me? Now, the plasma B cell then will produce antibodies, IG. Let's say IG maybe look like this. So this IG then will kill this virus that's located outside the cell. Because the antibodies cannot enter into our cell. It will be killing this one. Are you with me? So look at the function of T helper over here. It's helping the B cell and T cell to fight. Now, if someone have the infections of what you call is the HIV positive, for example, the HIV actually killing the T helper. Can you imagine that? After several years, when the T helper gone, very low in number, that positive HIV person will become AIDS person, have the disease called the AIDS. And the AIDS is basically they don't have the ability to fight against disease. Most of the time they die because of the secondary infection. Okay, like diarrhea can kill them, pneumonia can kill them right away, right? So that's the, just for information, the T helper is really important. This is the one that's attacked by the HIV viruses. Right. Now, look at this one. This process over here, killing these viruses, it take about 7 to 10 days. You get this one? So what happened during 7 to 10 days in your body? You're going to feel the disease. You're going to feel the illness. Oh, I have chicken pox, right? And then what happened after 7 day or 10 day? You being cured. Cured. Free from the chicken pox. Are you with me? And what will happen next year? The same virus enter into your body, chicken pox. Will you do this again? Will you have the disease again? No. Why? Look at this. You have this memory cell over here. The memory cell is actually ready, boom, over here. Before even the chicken pox causing disease to you, they already killed them right away. That's what we call the immunity. So that's what's happening. After you have chicken pox, you will not get chicken pox again. Why? You have the immunity to the chicken pox because of you have memory cell. But if what happened if the one that enter your body is polio viruses, can this memory cell be used? No, because this memory cell is only specific for chicken pox. Then you have to fight this from the beginning again. You're gonna produce memory cell for polio. The same thing with other immunity, other disease, right? So that's what we call the specific, because they are very specific to specific disease, and this specific will actually make us become immune because it has memory. Okay, so that specific defense, it has memory. It causing us to have the immunity against that specific disease. I hope this help you to understand the defense mechanisms. Again, I need your assignment. We will review that assignment on Thursday.